Yeah, that really moved everyone. Okay. There we go. Yeah, that'll work. Alright. I'll give it 3 more minutes. And then we'll be on. And that way I think I like WebEx more because the windows actually stay put.
Yeah.
Starting in 20 seconds. Five. And here we go. Good evening, everyone, and welcome again to Raven's Purge. We continue the Forbidden Lands campaign. Things were eventful last session, but before we get to the recap, there will be more players joining. As you can see, there are some errands that had to be cleared up, including parenting duties and whatnot. But Josh is here, and Jess is here, and Michaela is here. So Chris and Mike B will join us within 10 minutes or so, allegedly. Everybody, you waved as I said your names, so I guess we've done the introductions. Reminder for everyone who is watching that this is an R-rated show. Forbidden Lands is a cross between fantasy and Western, if you will. And if this was a fantasy Western movie, it would be directed by Quentin Tarantino, I have no doubt. So expect potential cruelty, bloodletting. Life is cheap in the Forbidden Lands. Life is cheap.
Kill a lot of people, but I don't think werewolf feet are that sexy.
Etc. Also, a shout out to Hellhag Productions, who have done all the overlays and all the tokens and graphics, not the main map, obviously, that is from the Free League, but other location maps that are, shall we say, not part of the official Raven's Purge are done by her. And sometimes I'm sure that we'll have reason to make sort of more detailed maps for some areas that are covered by Raven's Purge as well. Anyway, there will not be an epilogue for this session because the mechanics of the Shadow players is that they are sitting in their castles and dungeons and wherever they are, and they're plotting and planning and scheming and sending out orders through their minions. But they're also limited by, the physics of the world. So if it's a career on a horse, that will take a little while before the message gets there, and then it will take a while before people carry out the orders, and then messages have to come back again. Which means that, sometimes people are just en route with nefarious plots and plans rather than actually, carrying them out. Or maybe the orders have reached someone somewhere and these adventurers will stumble into that, and who knows how that goes. I mean, everything is going to be smooth. Absolutely smooth. So that's where we are with that. Shall we jump right into it then, ladies and gentlemen?
Sure.
Excellent. We are on the morning of Springrise 13th. I should say we're just at the start of the night, so it's midnight and so on. You have to decide, because you've made camp. So quick summary again of last session. We wrapped up the events at Fort Riverstone. Frida dealt with Lady Narinda in a most terminal fashion. There is no longer a Lady Narinda. Maybe she got a funeral, maybe she didn't. You ran out from the fort through the palisade gate, basically. Someone spotted you and shouted, but they did not pursue, at least not that you saw. And then you just hightailed out of that area. And
they had an awful lot of dead bodies and fires to deal with.
Yes. It was pretty much mayhem at Fort Riverstone after that night of violence and upheaval. Goblins and town guard and revolting peasants and saurians and adventurers and demons. Yeah, it was pretty messy. But so this is why you are now a grand total of a step away from where you started. You're up here, as you can see. That's just northeast of Fort Riverstone. You traveled for that 1/4 day to get there. And it was fairly late in the day, so that's where you decided to make camp. And as you went there, you noticed in the tree that there was some kind of strange structure there. It looked like, was it a cocoon? No. Cloth of some kind, tarp. Turned out it was a balloon. And up in that balloon, up in the tree, There was a dwarf who needed help and was in pain, who really didn't want to go down to the ground, and everyone tried to scale the tree, failed miserably. So Soren, just while you were doing all that, set up the camp successfully, and it's now basically time for you to decide who's going to take watch during the night. Who has the least bad scouting in case something bad comes along?
I guess that'll probably be Brainer.
Mm-hmm.
Give this a try here, and hopefully I will or won't see anything overnight.
Yep, that's the question.
What?
Hello there, sir.
Hello.
We're just gonna do the
Oh no,
scouting
Brainerd.
check, which didn't work at all. If there is an ambush waiting for you in the middle of the night, you will not be able to deter it.
Hey, DM, can I push that?
You can.
Okay, I'm gonna push my luck and push that.
That will be 3 white dice then, obviously, since that succeeds. You also take a point of damage to your wits, which also gives you a willpower point.
The good, the bad, and the fugly.
Yeah. But at least it means that if there is something bad out there, Brennar will be able to... just for protocol, Celestial Passage does have the Spyglass, which is a +2 gear bonus to scouting. Would Celestial Passage lend that to...
To a frailer I just met?
Yes?
Why not?
Not yet. He hasn't quite earned our trust.
Fair
Brainer
enough.
probably wouldn't go ahead and actually ask of it because he'd be too proud at this
Okay.
point.
What
I'm-
a son of a bitch.
I'm
It's an
fine with
easy
that.
way to get pink eye anyway. So
That's all right. I mean, you succeeded, but it's just one of those things, right?
Well, if he takes it without asking, that's an easy way to get at least stink eye.
It's
It
true.
would be. So, the night will in fact pass without terrible incident. You will hear the moaning from the dwarf up in the tree, but that's really about it. So, all of those who are sleeping, which is not Brennar, you get to heal up one of your damage tracks completely, in case there is a damage there for you to heal.
Ooh, I healed that empathy from failing to heal the poor guy.
Good for you. Dawn will come. And with dawn, rain. For the first time since you all set out on your journeys. The first few drops, but it's clear that these skies above you are not gonna let you go without getting wet today.
Bloody hell, fur takes forever to dry.
Flow washing over us.
Not much in the way of wind.
Washing away our sins, perhaps?
The heavens cleanse us.
Some more than others.
It is the will of Whale, clearly.
It gives you a side eye.
Whale wills it. Whale, of course, being the goddess of air and weather.
Whale smiles because while our tracks might be easier to follow for someone on foot, it also means the cavalry will be far less likely to follow.
You'll still hear the dwarf moaning a bit up in the tree.
Okay, one of us needs to cut him down, because I can't deal with this anymore.
And give him a serious anesthetic or something. Yeah.
Something. Give him something.
I'm sure you will.
What is it to climb again?
That'll
Movement?
be a move.
Movement.
And I believe someone had a rope. Was it big?
Yep.
Can I borrow your rope?
Exactly.
Yeah, you can. Just try and wipe it off afterwards. You're kind of wet.
Sure.
You're kind of wet as well, my friend.
Yeah, but I don't smell like wet. Whatever that is.
Wet halfling?
Okay, then.
You can add 2 black dice gear bonus because
Oh,
you're using
cool.
a rope. Which doesn't really matter because you succeeded anyway.
Okay.
Nice change from last time.
It is, isn't it?
Well, basically,
I-
you're climbing up the tree, and the dwarf gentleman, he is lying there, and looking at you in some skepticism, but obviously you haven't killed him yet. Nobody's been attacking him. Celestial Passage was up there and tried to help him a bit, but couldn't really. So he'll let you up, but he does give you a bit of this kind of.
Listen, dude, if I was gonna eat you, I'd have eaten you already, okay? So, you're fine.
All right. He by this time he looks a bit haggard. Circles of fatigue under his eyes.
Is he, like, tied into anything, or can I just, like, lift him up and out?
No, he's not tied in.
Okay. I will just lift him up and out and then carry him, like, piggyback on the way back down.
Well, no, I do not. Set me down.
You need to get out of the tree.
No,
Suck it
I
up.
refuse. He will.
Do you want me to do a grapple?
Yes, because he
Okay.
will physically resist that. Absolutely.
That's fine.
Friend dwarf, it's so we can tend your wounds.
Grapple melee?
Yep.
Okay. Oof, I will push.
Feel free.
Because why not?
Yeah, that was not good. Remove 1 of the white dice, of course.
Yep. Still a fail, but
Yep. That means that he actually, I'm gonna say, wait, he has a broken leg. You're not gonna be able to finagle him out of there. He's not terribly good at resisting because of the broken leg. But there's just so many ropes and branches and leaves that are hitting you in the face, and you're kind of bulky too.
yeah,
And
I'm
as you're
very
moving,
large.
the whole basket is kind of rocking a bit, so you haven't
Okay.
been able to, because he's flailing with his arms, haven't been able to get a good grip on him.
Alright.
to get him down.
Listen, it's either you let me take you down under this tree and we tend your leg, or you stay here. Because it's either I carry you down or I cut down the tree and you fall with it.
Would I be able to add to that statement with an empathy or I guess manipulation
Absolutely.
to try and calm them down?
Yeah, you can just from down there, and you will get a +1 on your skill check because there's a lot of you, and only that one dwarf. In fact, +2 because Celestial Passage tried to help him last night. So 2 more red dice for you. That worked excellently. Very well then, but note this. I will not put my feet on the ground. You hear me? You have
That's
to
fine, I will sit you down.
You will have to put my feet somewhere that is not the ground. A box, anything. Just not the
Okay.
ground.
Okay.
Not the ground.
She gets it. I'll take him to the ground and
I'll lay my cloak down.
Yeah. Mumble something about prissy ass dwarves.
I'm gonna have you roll might to get him down and get yourself down without too much trouble. Because you're carrying something big. You know, you have 4 dice in strength because of that. You strained yourself a little bit earlier on there.
Dwarf wrestling.
4 white dice,
4.
please. Yeah.
Sorry. Still figuring out how sheets work.
Why does the dwarf get a piggyback when I never get one?
Yeah.
Because the dwarf has a broken leg.
Exactly. Well, that went swimmingly. You were getting yourself down. I should have probably added the rope to this as well, but that doesn't matter.
If I'd have failed, we could have re-rolled with the rope.
You have the dwarf slung on your back, piggyback style, exactly. And you just grab the rope and gravity does the rest.
Yeah.
Without too much trouble.
She just kind of slides down.
Yeah. And there you have a dwarf on your back, or in your arms, as you want, with a broken leg, who really does not want to set his 2 feet on the ground.
So I will set him down into a sitting position and hold his legs up until we can put the cloak underneath of them.
He groans a bit because of that broken leg.
Stand aside. Let me actually tend to his wounds before you make them worse, please.
I had to get him out of the goddamn tree.
Hey, do you actually have any bandages to assist?
That's a good question.
The tree is not damned by the gods. It's blessed.
Good. Grab some blessed leaves and we can patch this blessed wound.
They're right here. For you.
Raynor's digging in his backpack for an old, unused bandage from Marita.
Right. Okay, that means that you can get a +1 gear to your healing check there, Biag. So that's a black die. That's a success. How about it? Let's see now. Recovery.
Here's some
I'm gonna
branches
say that
and
you're
wood
going to be
to
able
help.
to basically set the broken leg properly and use the bandages to tie it up. Obviously, he's not going to be able to walk for a while.
Bandages to make a splint.
Yeah. So, okay, you have basically allowed, you basically managed to cut down his healing time with that bandaging work. As long as he's not moving his leg and as long as he rests, he's going to recover much faster thanks to you. And you can
Yeah, because
see,
now the leg will heal straight.
yes, it will. And you can see that he actually has some relief after you've done the procedure and done the bandaging and attached some splints to his leg. He is visibly relieved, and he actually says a heartfelt thank you to all of you. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot.
You're welcome.
That was very kind of you. It's very hard to find kind people in this world.
We do try.
I
So
have
how
very
did you
little
get
to...
stuck in that tree?
Oh, a day or two.
What happened?
Well, my balloon drifted off course, and I ended up in the tree. It was dark. I couldn't navigate properly, and I couldn't find... Over this blasted plain, it was hard to find a good place to land.
Mikhail, would those balloons be something we would be common with, or would they be a new invention?
Yep, that's something new. You haven't seen something like this before.
That's... How did you get a balloon large enough to ride it?
um, tenacity, maybe. The others. Let's just say that I'm not going back to where I'm from.
Ah. There's
They
a
do
lot
not
of that
understand.
going around.
They
Well,
do
it
not.
takes a very different mind to choose to take flight and see the world from above.
Seems like a very dangerous contraption. You must be very brave.
No, just desperate.
So where are you from?
I'm from the mountains in the west.
On the other side of the lake?
Yes.
Isn't that where Finland was from?
Fidan, yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I will not return. They have not understood. I can't speak about it anymore. It's suffice to say, it is my lot in this world to live in this balloon now.
And where did you get this balloon from? Did you steal it from whomever you're running away from?
No, I made it myself.
It's funny, we had a friend from that way. He had never mentioned anything about difficult times in his home.
As I said, we don't necessarily agree on many things, me and my kin.
I can understand that.
Well, hopefully with some rest, your leg will be able to heal up, and maybe we can get your balloon out of this tree.
Yes, it looks like it'll probably need some repair.
I heard there is a village not too far from here towards the northeast. I was aiming to go there, but I don't know how I'll make it now. I'm stuck, of course. He looks up towards the actual balloon. I need a very big fire to get this thing going again. And in this rain, Huge is not pleased with me, clearly.
Well, perhaps we can get it down and somewhere mended, and we can get you somewhere you can rest for a while.
I do not have much to reward you with.
I believe that's quite all right.
Why, thank you. That is most kind. Most decent indeed. Hi, Chris. Welcome to the table.
Hello, sorry I'm late.
That's all right. I'm sure you understand what just transpired.
I got the gist of it, yeah.
The dwarf has been rescued from. Yeah.
The important part I heard is he doesn't have much to reward us with. So
Exactly.
That's why we had to get the agreement and deal done before Soren got here.
yeah.
Another useless mouth to try and keep fed and alive. I'm gonna go to sleep now.
That's right.
If we can get this balloon working, though, we can probably traverse great distances, or at least crash into a lot of trees, so we can, move a lot faster than we've been doing lately.
I'm not sure I'm really meant for a balloon.
I don't believe the basket's large enough for all of us anyway.
No.
The benefit is we can rebuild it, make it better.
Do you
Fine.
understand the manufacturer?
It's sorcery, and I know a certain somebody who can deal with that.
Here's the thing. If I'm walking and my leg gives out, I don't end up in a tree.
Or a ravine. Or a river.
Well, you might wind up in a ravine or a river, depending on when your leg gives out.
Depends on how far you get thrown.
This depends on the conditions.
I was gonna say, rebuilding this for that great a party, that will be very difficult indeed. We'd need to make the actual balloon bigger, but also the basket. But if you agree with me that it is horrible to have your feet on the ground, and he's still lying down with his feet very much on the blanket, hopefully propped up by a box or something.
I will roll my eyes so hard it's audible.
Yeah, Frida looks a little.
Frida, I suppose potentially you could give him a boost back up for now.
I would appreciate that.
What? You want me to put him in my lap?
No. Up onto a lower
Shoulders.
level branch or something.
To my basket.
Yeah.
We want to put him back in the tree?
It's where he prefers to be, and short of the balloon functioning, he can't walk on the ground right now.
I don't
Okay.
want to go through that all over again. That tree is practically, waxed. We
Why
don't
don't
need
we
to do
get
that.
the basket out of the tree and then put him in it?
That could work.
Have at.
Do you have food and water for however long you're going to be here until you get?
A few
Up
more
again?
days. Yes, a few more days.
Yeah, that takes a couple weeks to heal.
Yes, it does.
Well, if we get to that village first, we can send people.
All right, here's my plan. We'll strap the basket to your back. I'll bind it with rope, and you could just carry him like a little, I don't know, horse? You're on like a wolf horse.
Halfling.
That would be hard, even for Frida to do for long periods
Dag,
of time.
you need to stop talking before you get hurt.
Also,
He doesn't mean tact.
the practical aspect too is if we're walking and we get attacked by something, Frida, from my understanding, is the warrior. Having a dwarf strapped to her back is going to hinder that.
It's really hard to
Literally-
fight with a dwarf backpack.
Literally eyes in the back of your head. It's, if anything, double your perception.
Except an extra whatever pounds in weight, which hinders my movement.
Is there any
Or-
possibility where two of us can lift and basically create some type of structure we could carry front and back? And he can
Are you
sit on?
saying we're going to carry him in a palanquin?
I'm saying that we could easily go ahead and carry him in the fabric associated with my small tent.
Or the fabric and basket associated with his own balloon.
Yeah, grab the basket, get
It's a
two
lot of
branches.
fabric. It's a lot of skins.
You could definitely do
and-
something like that, yeah.
Here's the important question: why?
Karma and
You
good
could-
deeds.
You don't have to bring me, says the dwarf. I'm much obliged to what you've done already. If you but send word in the village, I'm sure someone will have. I saw a fort when I passed by
Yeah,
here.
that's not gonna help.
Oh,
Honestly,
Yeah, that-
though, if we go gallivanting through town saying we need materials to fix a flying contraption that was stuck in the tree,
No,
they're
no,
gonna
no,
throw
no,
us
no,
away.
no.
We go through town and say there's an injured dwarf in the woods.
That needs
Somebody
help.
needs to send help.
Again, why?
Because we're not complete dicks.
Because we're not the Rust Brothers.
You're throwing the word "we" around an awful lot.
Okay, I'm not
so
a
you're a
complete
member
dick.
of the Rust Brothers?
I don't subscribe to any religion. They're all a bunch of hooey.
You don't have to believe in the gods believe in you.
Okay, well, you guys have a theological discussion. I'm gonna go get the basket.
the dwarf
You know-
is sort of nodding. It's clear that the gods look at me. It's clearly because I've upset the gods.
Clearly.
probably from trying to defy the laws of nature and soaring through the air.
I'm climbing up to get the basket.
Sure. Let's see now. I'm thinking probably a might roll again because it involves a lot of strength to get yourself out there, but I'll give you the +2 black
Oh, I
dice
did
for the
move,
rope.
but I can re-roll. Because I thought it was moved last time. Sorry.
Okay, yeah.
I can do might. That's fine.
Look at that.
There we go. That's a
That
better
was
roll anyway.
indeed better.
Okay, so yeah, I get up there to try and get the basket out of there and get the without tearing too much. Obviously, it's gonna tear some. It's stuck in the goddamn tree.
Yeah.
But
Generally speaking, yes, you do get it out after a while.
Okay.
Brennar, you are very tired at this point. You've kept watch all night. You will need to have a quarter day of sleep or so. But it's up to you when you take it. You'll be sleepy until you get it done.
Okay, Brainer will try and go ahead and push through until next time.
well,
Yeah.
we should probably also hunt and make a meal. So if we want to do
I
that,
cast sleep. I grab a big rock.
Well, yeah, if we're gonna forage or hunt, then Brainer will take the opportunity. Otherwise, if we're planning on ducking out anytime soon, he'll push through.
So for sleepy then, just for everyone's record, this means that you can't recover wits except through magic. And you will take a point of damage to your wits each day. And then when you have slept for a quarter day, all this is fixed. So all those effects goes away. But that means that basically you did take a point of wits damage keeping watch that night. That's not going to heal up. Yeah, that's the situation. When the sun comes down, you'll take another point of damage to your wits if you haven't rested before that.
Okay.
so we should probably at least spend the next quarter day prepping before we leave
That's
further
up to you.
into the woods.
Question, Mikhail. Would I, as a hunter, know whether the hunting is going to be better here in the plains or in the forest that's like a half day's walk away?
That's a good question. It depends more on the season than the. Well, I have to check again just to make sure I'm not saying something silly. Plains is +1 for hunt. Forest is also +1 for hunt, so it doesn't make any difference really.
Okay, so
Changes what you get.
Yeah.
all right, so yeah, if it was going to be significantly better, I'd push to push on, but we can hunt here.
Yeah.
Easy enough.
And when you get into the dark forest, you don't have the +1 anymore, so because it's too brambled and whatnot. But that's the situation. It's a spring, so because of that, your hunt is not affected at all. But foraging is.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, if we want to rest up here, maybe the dwarf can get himself situated. I don't mind going hunting, seeing if I can get us some food to carry us through for a couple of days.
I can go
doing
with
some
you if you
foraging.
want and assist, at least in the takedown.
Yep.
Brainer's gonna sleep if that's the case.
That's absolutely fine. Who is anyone going to keep watch in the camp?
The dwarf and maybe Big.
Not a good idea, no.
I suppose the dwarf could do that. The dwarf, by the way, is called Andred.
Andred.
Yes, Andred.
I will, before we leave, help him get back in his basket, nestled with some of his
That's very kind.
balloon.
He does
Turn
have,
it into a crow's nest.
yeah, he has a bit
basically.
of a crow's nest up there, so I'm gonna give him.
Well,
that
his
as-
basket's on the ground now.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
He can live in his basket now.
It's better than him trying to climb a tree with a broken leg.
Yeah, he'll keep watch, and he will be successful, even though he pushed the roll. All right, so he's keeping watch up from his perch in the tree. Brennar is sleeping. Soren and Frida will go out for hunting. Celestial Passage and Big. What are you gonna do meanwhile?
Well, I
If
figured
Soren will accept my help.
If Soren will accept your help.
because I think that's a survival check for foraging.
It is. So you can do that.
I will I will definitely be sleeping.
Even though you don't need to, but that's fine. If you have a second damage track that needs healing, you can do that for sure. Let's go to the hunt then. We do need a survival check then for the hunter.
Alrighty.
And the Frida.
Yeah. Then I get a bonus from Frida.
Frida's just kind of a bio break.
She's gonna bring down the game later on, right?
Okay, so she's not actually part of the hunting roll then.
You know. The way I understand it is that's correct, yeah.
Yep, she was just gonna prep it.
Okay, not a problem.
Several people can hunt at the same time. If you want to roll separately, you can't run. Okay, no, you can add. You can actually add an. Yeah, all this can help. So you can add a skill die for Frida's help.
Okay. Well, I will just roll one extra skill dice here then. Just.
Okay.
All right.
That didn't turn out too well.
I will spend my willpower for Way of the Forest.
Did you add the die for hunting in the plains?
Oh no, I didn't.
Okay, then add a die for hunting in the plains. That's another skill die. There you go.
Oh, there we go.
You found something. What was it? Roll a d6. What did you find?
What did I find? That's a good question.
What did you find?
I found a 2.
You found a
the
crow.
traded tutu.
You found a crow.
All right. Well,
All right, Frida, you're up.
That's not nearly going to be enough.
Throwing spear.
Sure. Close enough I can just kind of bite its head off. Marksmanship, I assume?
Yeah.
And my spear is +2. I think. Let me just double check on that.
Looks like. Oh, did you? Did
+1.
yours?
Pardon?
No, I was just checking because it looked. Yeah, it looks like you had maybe a bonus of +2 before, or for that spear.
It says
Throwing
+1.
spear is a bonus of +2.
Is it +2?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
but you
Even
might
better.
have. Did you wreck the spear at some point when you were fighting something?
Not that I remember.
Because it might be that you that it got knocked or something when you were fighting something, and that's why it's only a +1 right now.
Maybe. I will use the +1.
All right, let's go. And then someone with craft can fix it.
Yes.
And it's a success. You have brought down a crow with a throwing spear.
I doubt it's large enough to feed our entire party, so we may have to continue on.
This is correct. It gives you 1 meat, so one person can get
So,
their bellies
I
filled with this.
Still have 1 meat from the deer that we did up to.
You do, yeah. So that's 2 meat.
Okay.
yeah, and there's 5 of us.
Yeah.
6 with the dwarf, but he has some
6
own,
with the
he
dwarf.
has his own provisions, so he can eat.
That's right. You did say he had a couple days worth, so if he didn't, for whatever reason, eat those.
But then we would have to carry him into town.
That's not what he's getting at.
Be a
Not
lot
at all.
lighter.
I went through an awful lot of work to get him out of that goddamn tree. I really don't want to have to kill him.
Fine. Alright. Well, since Brainard is probably still sawing logs, we can take some more time seeing what else we can scare up for game.
Okay.
That would require another quarter day of hunting. This was the morning's quarter day.
Yep. Morning sucks for hunting.
Did Celestial Passage want to do any foraging? while
Yes,
this
I
is
was.
going on? All right. Did you have any bonuses for that? Like talent and stuff?
Just my wits and 2 survival, I believe.
You're correct. And you get a -1 on your skill because it is spring. There's fewer herbs, there's less growth right now. It's not like the fall. But it succeeds anyway. You have, in fact, found vegetables.
Ah, excellent.
Yes.
I'll make that crow go
2
further.
vegetables. And each vegetable is a full meal. So if it gets cooked by Frida. So
I can make a nice stuffing with that.
yeah, so now you have 4 meals between the venison, the crow, and the edible herbs and roots and plants that Celestial Passage found.
So now we just need one more.
Or you can
What
take
would-
from your field supplies that you have in your backpacks, the yummy, crunchy biscuits and jerky and dried out fruits.
Would I be able to use my animal handling skill if somebody else spotted an animal to kind of lure it into a trap or something like?
No.
It was a long shot, but you
It
know.
was.
Right. Well, I'm willing to take the afternoon to go hunting as well. I'm under
Alright.
the assumption that we're not traveling at night, so we're gonna be here for until tomorrow morning, I think.
Sounds
Seems
right.
like it. All right. Feel free to do a hunt roll. Brenner, you have now healed up one of your tracks, and you're rested, and you're not sleepy anymore.
Excellent. So yeah, so for my second quarter day, since I have Herbalist 2, I'm going to quote unquote walk the lands foraging.
We have 2 foragers then. That should be. Several adventurers can forage at the same time. If you want to make separate rolls, you can't forage in the same location. Then you have to choose. Basically, you're gonna do it either like Frida and Soren, or you go into different hexes to forage. And that could have side effects.
There's no water around, so I can't go fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I'm
But between the two of you, Brenner is the much better forager, and you get another skill die for being helped by Celestial Passage. It's not a wasted effort in that sense.
But then the Frailer will have to work with Celestial Passage.
This is true.
Well, it'll just mean that I make sure he doesn't accidentally pick up some toadstools or other poisonous herbs.
There we go.
Yeah, that can be an interesting moment. The Frailer and the Elven Spring walking the lands together.
Yeah, so yeah, he'll go talk to Celestial Passage and
Technically,
see if they want to forage together.
Brenner, you have explored the hex due south of you guys. So you could go and forage there and get back again before nightfall, because it's plains, so it's 2 hexes, right, in a quarter day. So you could go south. If you really don't want to be with Celestial Passage, you could go south and forage there.
Brainerd probably would put it aside for now and see if Celestial Passage wants to forage.
Well, it's for the betterment of us all.
Alright, 1 sec.
What was that for, Michaela?
When I hit the button, yeah, I was on the wrong window.
Oh, okay,
Sorry.
that's fine.
So I get an extra skill-based dice for...
Yes, exactly. 1 more red die.
Alright, so survival... And then my herbalism gives me an extra 1.
Yep.
So... I'm just going to stick that in gear for my herbalism. And then an extra skill-based dice from Celestial Passage.
Yeah, that works. You found a
Well, it's
vegetable.
at least something.
Yep, another veggie. You find roots or let's see now. I think it's mostly roots. Some leaves probably that could be used for seasoning maybe.
We find dandelions.
Did you remove one die for spring?
Shucks, I know I didn't. Sorry.
Doesn't your herbalism counteract that?
It's fine though because, well, it's plus minus one, right? Because both of your red dice were 2s, so it wouldn't affect anything.
Right, Frida, are you coming hunting, or are you staying here to cook up the vegetables and stuff?
I will come hunting and I'll just cook it all together in the evening.
All right, that works.
Right, so survival +1. Okay. So we found something.
Oh, you found something. Indeed, you get to roll 2 d6s and take the best one.
Hmm?
And the best is always the highest, so... That's a 5.
Oof. We found something good.
Yes,
Well,
indeed.
the other was a squirrel.
You found... Oh dear. You found a boar.
Alright, we can do this.
You can totally do this.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
You want me to start with my throwing spear again?
Yes.
Yeah?
You have a -1 on this because boars are hard to kill that way. If you fail, so you don't need to fight the animal. Just rolling once is enough. And if you succeed, you're fine and you brought down the boar. If you fail,
Hey,
it
look,
will
I brought
attack.
down the boar.
And you, yes, you did it. That's enough. That's what you needed.
Well, right between the eyes.
Yeah. Ugh. That was good hunting, and that gives you 4 meat and 2 pelts.
Oh, nice.
That's a good haul.
Excellent.
Yeah. I
I'll
think
throw
that's
the
worth
boar
it.
over my shoulders and carry it back to the camp.
Yeah. All right. That means that this day, the 13th of Springrise, has been one of foraging and hunting, and you've managed to bring home quite a few vegetables and some meat as well. In total now, you have what is it? It's 5 meat and I think it was 3 vegetables. Or something like that. Yeah.
I thought it
3
was
vegetables.
4.
4. Brennan rolled a 1 success on that roll.
Oh,
And Celestial Passage had 2. So it's 3 vegetables and 5 meat altogether. That's going to be 8 food. That's enough for everyone, including the dwarf, and leaves 2 left over. You'll have to use the evening to cook, of course.
yes. Frida will cook for the evening. Do I have to roll for that where I'm trying to up the skill?
I don't think you have to roll for that, no.
Oh no, because it's a skill I already have.
Yeah. I think that's how it
Okay.
works.
Yeah, you're not trying to fake it.
No. Frida knows how to cook and she's just gotten better at it now.
So, you cook and you create an extra unit of food. You can create an extra unit, yeah. So you can create, in fact, 9 then, food. Altogether. That's
I'll be
great.
taking this opportunity to use my performance skill to drown out the sound of my rumbling belly while we wait for the food to actually cook.
Now we have
Poor,
one
poor
question
little
left.
princess has to wait for her dinner.
How much water do you have? Because you don't actually have any water nearby. So I'm going to ask you to do roll your water die for your belongings.
Oh man.
The Celestial Passage now has a D6 of water instead of a D8.
I have no luck rolling that die.
Nope.
No, you don't.
And Biag is out of water entirely after this day. Tomorrow, Biag will need to find new water somewhere. You have eaten and you have drunk enough to be hungry and sated, but Biag did run out of water from her skin. Water skin, or flask.
Oh, there it is.
And so, yeah, you still have the camp, so you don't have to set up a new camp for this
I
second
ran out
night
of water also.
on the plains. And Frida also ran out of water.
City
Okay.
folk.
I'll set something up to collect rainwater.
It is raining,
that?
indeed. It is raining. And it's a fairly moderate rain that's been going on for all day. You haven't seen a soul on the plains today. No one
So I will
anywhere.
set up a pot to collect rainwater that I can boil off in the morning to clean it.
Will
Yeah, I
we
like
be able
that.
to use one of those skins that we collect?
I have a pot.
The
They're
pelts are
pelts.
probably still bloody.
I'll allow you to do a crafting roll to set up something that can actually collect enough water to represent one full D6 of
Okay.
water.
Shane,
Do
we
you need
can't use the
assistance with
balloon
that?
to make
Of
us.
I like to think that Soren is just taking like small sips of water to make sure he's not thirsty as he watches these city folk just like glug 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 glug.
Exactly.
So that gives me +1.
If Freda's helping out, yeah. But I mean, this is a success. So.
Oh, sorry. I thought I was rolling.
Oh yeah, no, Brennar rolled.
Okay.
Sorry.
He's the crafting master.
It wouldn't hurt to have multiple people have things set up, though.
Okay. I will roll also. My
Okay.
crafting's pretty decent.
Yep.
I mean, we have the cookware, we have the balloon that could be set up to be a pool to collect in.
All right. So, provided that the rain lasts through the night, you will have a D6 of water, 2 D6s of water collected through these contraptions in the morning. Provided the rain lasts. Yeah, it's been a bit of a dreary day, maybe, certainly for Biag. You're far away from any civilization. There's absolutely no one to converse with. I mean, you could sing for Andras the dwarf.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll sing to wipe away some of my sorrows. It's raining. I'm out of water.
Yeah, exactly.
Food is horrible. I'm literally eating crow.
How ironic that it's raining and you're out of water.
How dare you? My food is delicious, thank you.
Her food is
but
very
literally
good, in
eating
fact.
crow.
Or the boar makes the crow a little bit more palatable, and these roots are excellent.
They are.
Exactly.
Oh, and this performance is so lovely.
I stuffed the crow with a nice root stuffing, and
No, it's really a balm on the soul, if you will, for most people who are listening to this. It's lovely to hear this song out in the middle of the plains. You have the edge of the forest. It's going to be at least about 5 kilometers away, provided you're in the middle of the hex. And rain and this, every once in a while, this flutter of canvas coming from the trees. There's almost no wind to actually move the canvas as such, but when there is a wind gust, because you're still in the plains and there's always some movement, that canvas is rustling a bit, but otherwise it's very quiet and just rain. So, yeah, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, since we don't have to set up the camp, I will sleep during the third quarter, and then I will keep watch while the others are sleeping.
Okay, that sounds good. Is anyone keeping watch during the third quarter?
I will.
Very good. Yeah, it's starting to get darker. The shadows are lengthening a little bit, even though there hasn't been much sun here today. And as Celestial Passage is kind of walking the perimeter of the camp, and maybe using a tree stump or whatever small rock to stand on to get a little bit of elevation for that looking glass. You're sweeping across the horizon, and you can actually see two figures far away through the looking glass. And let's see now. They seem to be. There's a flash of metal. They seem to be lunging at each other. They certainly haven't seen you or this camp.
I'll keep an eye on them then, since it seems like they're fighting each other.
Yeah, they seem to be. But they're not approaching in any way.
No. I'm just bearing witness.
Yeah, it's if they are having a duel, it's not a very lethal duel. And after a while, they kind of stop and they talk to each other, and then they start moving away.
I'll return back to the camp.
You're right.
Which direction were they off in?
Towards the pretty much due east, actually.
Oh.
They would have been on sort of the edge of the southeast hex from your point of view.
Yeah, that's why I figured.
Something there-ish.
Yeah, the one above Peddler's Rest.
Yeah. Obviously, you can't see into that hex because that's too far, probably. But in that general direction. But that's all that happens in the afternoon. In the evening, I should say. Yeah. So what's you've eaten? Soren has rested. Everyone can have a rest over the night while Soren is keeping watch.
I'll let Soren know what I saw, because I'll tell the rest of the party in the morning.
Okay, I'll keep an eye out in that direction too, in case they or the Victor or whatever comes our way. I'll also, like the fire that we have, I'll do my best to bank it so maybe they can't see it at the distance they're at.
That's very possible. They don't seem to notice you at all. And in fact,
they seem intent on their practice duel.
When you look that way next time, when you're about to shift, take turns, they're gone.
Yeah, the last thing I need is more mouths to feed.
It is Soren's time to roll for keep the watch then.
Okay. That is scouting.
It is indeed. Possibly with a looking glass?
Yeah, Meld and Soren the glass.
No.
All right.
You are. The rain, I can tell you, does not let up during the night, which is, miserable news in terms of just how wet everything is, but good news because you can collect that rainwater. Now I think it was Frida and Biag who didn't have any water left. I'll give you a D6 water each. So you have at least something. But it's a new day. It's the 14th of Spring Rise, and it's still raining.
All right.
Grass needs it for sure.
Well, in theory, in the forest, we should be able to find a water source in the forest. Something's going to be feeding the trees and the plant life. So we will head into the forest. It was our plan to go into the forest anyway, but now we have kind of a more pressing need to. Unless
the trees also, can't we just tap them?
To collect the sap?
No, well, there's some trees that you can get water from.
If we want to spend a couple hours.
Technically,
Okay.
finding water is another forage roll. It's just, instead of looking for vegetables, you're looking for water.
Okay.
Yeah, and forests give +1 to forage, so.
Yeah, let's just move in further to the forest.
Alright.
We got a druid. Why don't we just grab a stick and use it as a divining rod and find some water?
So I don't think druids work that way. I've met one or two.
You pick up a stick, you find water. It's how druids work. Trust me.
That's
Do you
not how
ever
druids work.
think before you open your mouth?
You don't
Ever?
have to. It just works out.
No, it doesn't. It's gonna get you killed.
Do I have you around?
Not for long at this rate.
No. Not as if you keep comparing me to a wet dog.
Well, if you keep smelling, never mind.
So you lead the way. I guess it's Soren's turn to lead the way. Feel free to put the party marker where it should be as you move further into the wilds and into the Dankwood, indeed. Lead the way. That's a survival roll. Did you have Pathfinder?
I do.
Excellent. That helps. That's a success. It is not a success.
Alright. Give me 1 sec here, though. See, part of me doesn't want to succeed because I want to see what happens.
Fine, feel free.
But I've also got my reputation on the line here as a hunter.
This is true.
This is that whole box analogy I was talking about earlier.
So yeah, I will spend a point of willpower to succeed automatically because of Paths of the Forest.
Okay. Then you lead them into this forest that provides a little bit of cover from the rain, at least. It's not a terribly dense forest at this point. Still lots of undergrowth. Even enough ground here. Not much in the ways of hills. So it makes for Soren's point of view.
Did we leave the dwarf behind?
Yep, you're leaving the dwarf behind. Yep, but Andras was saying basically he was just asking you to, when you get to the village, send word and someone will help me. He has his crossbow.
I'm sure someone will help him.
He has his crossbow.
All right. I know that there's water off to the. I'm assuming we're heading north, so there is water off to the east. So I know that if things get desperate, we can make a break in that direction for the river.
That is definitely an alternative.
But for the time being, we'll head just slightly north of where we were.
Yeah, no, you're definitely in the forest. This is a fairly bright forest. It's mixed between pines and birches. It's early spring, so a lot of foliage hasn't emerged yet, which means that you get less cover from the rain than you would, during the height of summer. But still some. The air is fresh to breathe in here. It's not like a very overgrown forest. I think Soren might enjoy this hike immensely.
Whoa. Soren enjoy.
I don't let anybody see that I'm enjoying it.
And it might be feel almost like home for Frida as well.
Frida actually starts to get a little uncomfortable because of how much it feels like home.
Alright. So I'm okay to push on further unless you guys feel the need to look around for water now that we're someplace that might be easier to find.
Who is doing the keeping watch while you're leading the way before you push on further?
You know who.
Yes, I know who.
And then I can forage after that.
Oh. Oh my.
Oh, you.
Push.
Are you gonna
Yeah.
push that?
Push.
I've got to push, yeah?
Yeah, that means, so you will have 3 white dice, obviously, since those other 3 were, yeah. Can't reroll those. That's just gonna hit your wits where it hurts. But you get 3 points of willpower, so there's that.
Oh my god.
Wow. Okay. Your looking glass
and my pride?
is slightly broken. Your wits is down to 1 left. Yes, you can roll your pride. Absolutely. That succeeds. Finally.
Oh, thank goodness.
But you did get 5 points of willpower out of that. You're almost broken. What did you do? Did you walk into a tree?
I don't know. I must have walked into it.
Because you broke
Tripped
your
over
looking
something.
glass too.
Hey, it's willpower, not my. It's wits, not physical.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're walking into a tree or something. Bang!
You want me
You
to
have
check out that eye? It looks
the
like you've been
most
staring off in the
amazing
distance for an
headache.
hour.
The most amazing headache you can imagine.
Oh.
It's, you're probably still confused as to why those 2 guys were just randomly fighting out and a hex away from us.
Yeah, and tried
Just
to
been
catch
on
sight
your
of-
mind so much.
And this is a new forest, and I have to see everything at the same time. And
Yeah.
And right
It's just
now,
screwing you up, man.
your head is just
Squirrels
absolutely
speak with a
spinning.
different accent around here, so it's creepy.
Your head is just spinning by now.
Yeah.
But it was a good thing, I think, that you succeeded. He said,
Jesus.
ominously.
Cheebus, yeah, I hope so. I suffered for you.
You suffered for everyone. Because that allows you to notice smoke coming out ahead of you. And a little bit later, Frida will feel the smell. There's fire ahead, and now you can start seeing animals coming out. Maybe there had been a lightning strike that you didn't see, but something has started a fire here.
I smell flames. We should get out of
Yeah,
this
there's
forest.
a large fire ahead.
Yep.
Apparently, I was blinded by the lightning bolt.
Suffocating on the smoke before it got to you.
Everyone needs to do a survival check. The fire
Ooh.
is coming this way.
That's not gonna go well.
Brenner is fine. Bieg is not.
Hey!
Frida is good. celestial passages as well. Soren!
I was really worried with all that wits damage.
I bet. That was...
I'm gonna push.
Yes, you do that, Soren.
Celestial Passage a half elf?
Yes,
Awesome.
I'm Elven Spring.
You might have noticed the
Dirty Frailer.
friction there.
So, elfie elf and human elf?
Yeah.
Okay.
Big, are you gonna do a reroll on that? Push it?
Yeah, I should probably do that.
Because if you don't, I'm going to have to grab you by the scruff of the neck. Because I
Yep.
don't like you, but I'm not going to let you die in a fire.
This is a good idea.
Hey, Big. Remember that time I didn't let you die in a fire? Die in a fire.
Ow, Big, you take 2 points of damage to your wits.
So what is it to grab Big by a scruff of her neck and drag her through the forest?
Might.
Hey.
I will not resist in this case.
I bet. You did get 2 willpower points from that.
No, goddammit, this way!
Exactly. No, you're all noticing how the fire is coming this way, and it's moving fast. There's some kind of undercurrent of the air here that just fuels the fire intensely. As a wolfkin, Frida, you're used to these things and just how fast they can move.
Yes.
And certainly Soren and anyone else who has lived in forests for a long time will be familiar with it.
Which is why Frida's like, no, goddammit, this way.
What Biag isn't. So Big stands there for a moment, deer in headlights. What?
It's
What do
so
you mean?
pretty.
Look at all the animals running. What, should we do something? And then
Move!
and then she takes a few steps, but being a halfling, she's short and stumbles over that log that everyone else clears so easily and just face plants on the other side. And before you know it, Frida just grabs you, hauls you up on her back, and runs.
Mama Wolf to the rescue.
And it's a good thing, because if you didn't succeed with those rolls, yes, you would be in the middle of the flames.
When we're running, can we tell if the fire is breaking to the east or west, just so we can determine which direction we're going in?
Yes. Essentially, the fact that you succeeded with the rolls means that you take the right path to get out of it, get out of the way.
Okay.
So it's blowing in that way. Frida and Soren can tell how this fiery animal, how the flames, what they want to consume next, what's next going to be their prey, and avoid them thanks to these rolls. So you get out of the way of the forest fire.
That sucks.
This is why it was a good good idea to keep watch, because otherwise it would have been much harder to evade that. You would have potentially been surrounded by the fire before you even were able to get away.
So here's my concern. In rain this heavy, how is a forest fire getting that bad that quickly?
It's not heavy rain. It's moderate, I should say. But if there is enough, it's been quite dry for the past couple of weeks.
Okay.
So there's plenty of very dry vegetation.
Underbrush?
Yeah, underbrush, exactly. That hasn't been touched by the rain yet. So
Okay.
that's probably what started it. And once it gets hold, it
Takes off.
yeah.
Yeah.
But obviously there's a lot of smoke coming out precisely because of the rain that makes some things moist and then the smoke goes up, so
It catches and burns like wildfire.
yeah.
All right. So once we're clear of the fire,
Where do you want to go? You can go one more hex if you don't go into the dark forest, which is due north. So you can go.
Shouldn't we go back and collect the dwarf before the fire spreads there?
That's the plains.
It is the
It'll be
place.
fine.
you know what? If the forest fire catches them, it's the gods' will.
Says the atheist.
If you guys are allowed to claim that God is responsible for stuff, so am I.
Gods, plural.
Yeah,
Yeah,
whichever.
we'll take care of them.
I don't think I like this sudden, like, you must be this tall to survive rule that you're instituting.
Soren's always had that rule. Did you miss that on the journey thus far?
You have paid me to guide you to someplace nebulous. He freely admitted, I don't have much to reward you with other than goodwill.
Guess it all just went over my head.
Basically, you're benefiting from obscure contract law that Soren didn't realize at the time.
That's right.
There's also no telling.
Empathy.
There's no telling where this forest fire might go. I mean, you're kilometers into the forest by now. It might never reach the plains.
Yeah, this rain could put it out before it ever gets there.
Oh, as far as I'm concerned,
Or not.
it's gonna swallow the
It's
whole world.
impossible
So
to
it almost got me.
That's what you thought it was so pretty.
So I will, in a brief moment of concern for other people, Big and Celestial, I know you guys look a little shaken. Are you okay to press on to put some distance between us and the fire, or do you want to find someplace relatively safe here to hole up?
I think it'd be best if we press on. We don't want to camp near the fire in case the winds shift.
Far away from the fire as we can go, yeah.
Okay.
So if you want to continue, then you could go southwest, because that's still not dark forest. You could go...
Didn't you say there was a river around here somewhere? That would probably be the best place to head.
is that
Yeah.
Hex... Is this Hex dark forest or not? That's the question.
It looks like it starts to bleed into dark forest, but it's mostly light.
Yeah, that's my impression as well.
Celestial has that headache.
I'll agree with that assessment. So that's not dark forest, and the next one would be.
Yep. So our plan is to head here,
Yep,
and then probably here.
sounds good.
So
to me.
this will be the goal for tomorrow, is to hit this, which should just put us on the riverbank. So we should have enough water to get us there. Alright.
And enough food.
So that is another pathfinding.
Lead the way.
It is indeed. Lead the way. I have a feeling that Celestial will not be the one keeping watch this time.
Oh my god, no.
Poor Celestial.
Hi.
Celestial, do you mind if I keep watch this time?
I do not mind.
Ah, you
Brief
succeed.
moment where someone's like, kind of holds his finger up, and then this way.
Yeah.
But he doesn't sound as certain as he normally does because I had to push the roll.
It works out. It works out.
Probably running from the fire through your direction of where you were off.
Yeah, so, and Brennar, you can have nothing to report. It seems it's all nice and peaceful and quiet in this forest. There's lots of wildlife, of course. Deer. You'll see squirrels everywhere running up and down.
Squirrel!
Birds.
Oh no.
Nothing threatening or dangerous.
We've lost
Sweet
free
hunting grounds.
squirrels.
Yeah, they are.
Blunt.
This could be a good
Tasty
place to make
squirrels.
camp, perhaps. You have
Hey.
spent, but you do have. This was just the morning's hike, so this was. You've done 1/4 day of hiking at this point.
You can do 2 hexes in a quarter day.
Yes, you can if you're traveling in open forest or plains.
Okay.
That counts as open terrain.
And hey, I make a delicious squirrel stew.
All right. Well,
If
I
I
think
recall
we're-
correctly, I'll double check that just because you made me uncertain.
Squirrel stew tastes kind of nutty.
Yes, it's 2 hexagons on foot. It's 2 hexagons in open terrain. If you had horses,
That's
you
just
could.
the
do
acorn
another
base.
hex.
well, I think we put enough distance between the fire to be safe. So I can take some time to see if I can rustle us up either food or water.
Yeah.
While folks rest and kind of get over the shock of the fire and everything.
I can also forage for some water if that would help any. Sorry.
You can have
I'm wondering. Oh, go ahead.
you can have someone foraging for water and someone foraging for vegetables in the same hex. I would argue.
I was actually wondering. I've seen Brainard tinkering with things here and there. Do you know enough to see if you can get this bend out of Celestial Passage's spyglass?
I can possibly try. Hey, GM, I have crafting. How does that work?
Say again?
So I have the ability to do crafting. How would I do a repair on an existing item?
Basically, you roll a crafting roll. You need a quarter day to work on it, and every success heals 1 point of damage to the object.
My crafting is also 6. Can I assist?
Sure, absolutely. I mean, you can also, since you have 2 objects that are potentially damaged. That's one is your throwing spear and one is the looking glass. You can work. Each of you can work on one of the objects.
Okay.
Sounds good. So yeah, I'll ask Celestial for the spyglass and see if I can repair it.
Sure.
By all means, if you can fix it, I'm gonna just lay over here for now.
Exactly.
Brainer will also make a fleeting comment to Celestial and says, if you're ever wounded like that in battle, I can give you some of your intelligence back.
Well, you do succeed with your crafting roll, and both of you do. So, the throwing spear is repaired. New leather straps fixed so that it's not so wobbly with the head, where the head meets the wood. And the looking glass. Apparently, you had to fix it like this. Now it's loose and you could, pull it in and out again properly. So they are repaired.
He passes the looking glass back to Celestial Passage.
Thank you.
Okay,
Was someone foraging or hunting?
Bit,
Yeah.
do you have anything for Celestial Passage's head?
I'm pretty sure he needs a lot more than the help that I can give him. I can play him a song. That'd be nice.
You can, in fact, use a healing roll. Let's see now.
Would that work in this situation?
So, any type of damage, right?
Or Passage could just take a nap.
Or Passage could just take a nap. This is true.
Well, I'll try and do the healing regardless. It'll fail miserably, but it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Oh, my ears.
Wow.
What was that about failing miserably?
That was a good roll.
That was the joke.
If anyone doubted healing's Beeg's capacity to take care of people around,
Hey, look, you do have a use other than being sarcastic.
all right. So healing is used for strength or agility, not wits, and saving life.
you can use, I think, performance.
You can use performance exactly to heal.
That's why I said I
wits.
could play him a song.
Yes. So if you roll performance instead, you will in fact be able to heal wits.
I'll use my flute for the plus
Yep,
one.
That gives us black die.
I love the fact that gear like that gives you bonuses.
It's lovely, isn't it? Yeah, you might want to push that big. Celestial is being feisty or something. I don't know.
The reed is damp.
I told you to listen to me.
The music
Try
is too
your-
high pitched, it's hurting his head.
Ah,
My
are you
brain's
playing
going to
music
explode.
now? To re-roll the performance there, you need to take one of the white dice away because you had that skull on the first roll. So it's 5 white dice and the other 3. There you go. No, the first one is fine. So you gained another willpower, but you did heal 1 point of wits for Celestial. Of course, if Celestial is resting this quarter day, you'll heal the rest anyway.
Yeah. I appreciate the effort on my part. I sleep now.
It's a nice little lullaby to lull you to sleep.
Yes,
Exactly.
it lulls you to sleep.
Doesn't cast sleep and grab a rock.
Rockabye Elven Spring.
So
Guys,
that's,
rather I find food or I try to find water?
you have to decide.
I think
Well,
you should probably
I
find
thought-
water.
I thought that Raynar could find water if we found food.
I repaired something. And you did too.
But
I'd say water is probably priority.
Yeah, water for that first quarter.
we've got another day's worth of food at least on us.
Alright. So yeah, I will go foraging for water then.
Sounds good. Roll accordingly.
This one for forest. Alright.
That's you find water.
Excellent. Alright. So yeah, so I spend the quarter day kind of looking around, following the animal tracks. And
Yeah.
then I come back and say, okay guys, I found like a little brook of clean water.
You find enough drinkable water for everyone in your group to fill their water skins up to a D12 resource dice if they like. You
yeah.
find an actual
Yeah.
creek or a brook or a small... Yeah, exactly. So it's enough for everyone to fill their water skins maximum.
Done.
Which is actually much better than rigging a contraption to catch rainwater. It's still raining, by the way.
Of course it is.
Yep.
Alright. We probably shouldn't push on in the dark, so...
It's still... Well, it's afternoon, yes. You have been using the afternoon for this. This is true.
Yeah.
I think I'm due for a rest. I've seen some serious shit today, so I'm good.
I will dole out everybody's portion of the food.
Nom. I was there at Nom.
So, I can add that no one was actually keeping watch while you were doing all these things. But apparently you lucked out, and you haven't been ambushed.
That would have been terrible.
No one seems to have noticed you or anything like that during this afternoon. Is Soren going to make camp for you? That has not been done yet.
And
You don't have to make camp, but not making camp means that everybody has to roll to have a good night's sleep.
city folk.
Yep, exactly. You succeed. You have made camp. Set up blankets in the right
for
spots.
God's,
Found
for
good
God's
cover.
sake, don't put the sleeping bag there. That's an anthill. Ugh. Let me do that.
He
thought it
says,
was a pillow.
promptly putting big sleeping bag back on top of the anthill.
No, Big is the one of you guys I like.
I see how
That's only because Beak has the money.
You find,
I noticed you're not denying that.
You find enough
Not at all.
sticks of the proper measure to make a small shelter for you all so you have something dry to be under, and can put up a small fire. It's a nice
Those
little
boar
bell.
pelts
It
are probably
shouldn't-
helping.
It shouldn't
We
attract too
sleep
many
under it, Big can dance under it.
eyes. Now, you have been hiking and all that during this day and repairing things. You did find water, so that's not a problem for the day, but how about the food? You have 2 meals left from yesterday, but other than that, I think
We
some
have
people
4.
will have to roll their food dice.
We have 4.
Oh, you have 4. Okay, then one person will have to roll a food die.
I'll eat rations because I know.
Okay,
Because with cooking 2, I was able to make 9 portions, and we still had 1 from the
that's
deer before.
yeah, that's true. So now your rations are done, and Soren is still has a lot in his backpack. So you've all eaten. You've all.
Because he just ate like 3 crackers, went, I'm full.
That's right. You need to ration when you're into the woods, people. What are you doing? Don't. Oh, never mind.
Nom nom, squirrel.
And that's the one you like.
Indeed.
Roast
Yeah.
pig, thank you.
Frida wasn't wrong when she said big head money.
And yeah, so that's it. Who's keeping watch in the night when the rest of you are sleeping? There are some damage tracks that need to be repaired here, but Celestial has already rested for a quarter day and is fine. So could keep watch in the night if you want.
Yeah, I'll keep watching the night, so when foraging's happening, I'll sleep.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hi, Shay.
Shay's like, they see me? It's like, yeah, you're in the one spot that's not blocked off, so I can get in and out without knocking it over. Oh.
All right.
Shay just got the email from By Night Studios, so has kind of gone off the... lost all sense of control and must log on to acquire new product.
That is completely understandable.
All right. Let's see how the keep watch roll goes. Very well indeed. No one is sneaking up on Celestial Passage when he's well rested and ready for anything. And indeed, no one is. It's a quiet night. You will hear the typical sounds for a forest at night. There's a fox out hunting somewhere. Some birds are moving somewhere. There's a rustling in the undergrowth as various rodents are taking this chance to get some food and nourishment while daytime predators are away and sleeping. But other than that, nothing much happens this night either. Which means that we start on the 15th of Spring Rise.
So I took, was it 2 wits damage, and I regain 1?
No, you regain the entire track when you're
Okay.
resting. You regain 1 track. So if you've
Yeah,
taken
unless
damage
there's
in
some weird complication.
if you've taken damage in both strength and wits, for instance, you have to pick if you're healing the strength or the wits.
Anything less takes a really weird complication that doesn't come up, generally.
Yeah. Unless you're an elf, in which case you can heal up all tracks at once.
It was tempting. But the extra power for spells is nice.
Yes, it is.
And as you wake up, before everybody has woken up, I should say, you're still on watch there, Celestial, and you can hear, clear as day, even though it's not quite day yet. Still raining, though. Someone approaching the camp. This is like in the wee hours of morning. It's daylight is literally upon you any moment now.
False dawn.
It's gray enough. You can see the trees are like gray shapes instead of black shapes. And
I'll gently nudge Frida with my staff as I turn towards where the person's coming from.
Yeah.
I assume you're at the other end of the staff because she kind of snaps a little bit as she wakes up.
Yeah. It's like nudge, pull back.
Yeah, Frida's not a morning person.
But a snapping wolfkin might wake everyone else up too.
What is it?
Approaching.
I'll get Celestial to show me the direction and then I'll sniff them out.
You can see them fairly clearly by now. They're walking through the undergrowth, and it's, what could it be? 50 meters away from the camp, something like that. It's, you don't have that long line of sight in here, but it's far enough for you to definitely not be ambushed. And it's clear from their movements that they're definitely not trying to hide.
I will burn a willpower to get their scent.
Okay.
To basically mark their scent.
So you can follow them if you need.
Right.
You will, Frida, in fact, recognize these. You've seen these elves before.
Oh, were they the ones from the goblins?
Yes. One of them being, as I described before, hard to place in terms of gender. Shaven head. They are dressed in plants, vines that have basically wrapped around their body.
These elves are friendly. I'll actually approach them.
And the other one was the one with a bow that you met before, who looks like a man, young man. Elves always look young, you hear.
They
like a man.
They had a real liking for the goblins for some reason, but they're not overly hostile.
And he has a sort of a blondish, almost greenish color to his hair, and is also very much dressed in browns and greens. If these two wanted to blend into the forest and the undergrowth and sneak, it would be very easy for them to do so. They are not armed in any way that you can see. He does carry a longbow on his back. He has also a sword and a long dagger in his belt. And they are accompanied by a third elf that you haven't seen before. This one is a young elf woman, or young, old. How can you tell with these guys anyway? Dressed very much like he is, and armed like he is as well. And basically when Frida comes towards them, they will stop. And the leaf-dressed one will say, "Hail, Demon Slayer," looking towards Frida.
Hail, what are you guys doing this far? I thought you were protecting the goblins.
We've been following you.
Following us? What for?
Because you are the Demon Slayers.
Well, yeah, but there's no demons left, are there? I thought we got them all.
There are no demons left in Fort Riverstone.
Well, yeah, but...
We've been watching over Fort Riverstone for a long time. Even by our standards, it's been quite a while. And to have the threat of demonic possession removed from that area is a great relief to us. It was much too close to our homes.
Had the demons been there for some time?
Since before the Blood Mist.
Really?
The Raven Sisters were appointed to guard that tome, to make sure that nothing bad could spread from it.
Obviously they succumbed to it.
It seems so, yes. But this
So how
means
come
that,
it wasn't just destroyed in the first place?
well, you'll have to speak to the Raven Sisters about that. I was not in these parts at that time. But we've been sent to look over this area, and since things have changed now in Fort Riverstone a lot, we decided to talk to you.
Okay.
Destroying that demon was a good deed.
I like to think so.
I would agree. And at this point, they're kind of glancing over to Celestial.
Oh, sorry. My bad. This is Celestial Passage. He's a friend that we met on the way out of town.
Greetings.
And of elven blood, I see.
Yes.
That makes you almost kin. Like Brenner,
Frito kind of just kind of look at them a little funny with that comment.
Like Brenner, I believe, they say, and look towards Brenner. And yet,
I'm
different.
of the Elven Spring.
They'll tell you that it's not exactly. I wouldn't get them confused if I were you.
We are aware of the differences between our kin.
Right?
And
They
we
just
have
seem
met
sensitive
Elven
about
Spring
it.
before. There are quite a few in these areas. I don't believe that we've made the acquaintance with you yet, and she will point toward. They will point towards Big and Soren.
This is Big, and this is Soren, and we also met them on the way out of town. They're also, I want to say, friends-ish. I don't know how they feel about it.
You'd want to say you're friends, and I want to say we're friends too, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's probably a good idea. It means I don't have to eat you.
Bigger than you have tried. And almost succeeded. Good idea. I'll stay out of it.
The Master of Sight have seen all of you together.
The what now?
The Master of Sight.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
I'm a student of the ways of seeing.
Someone with a bigger spyglass, perhaps.
Obviously.
You know of the Golden Bow, I take it, and they again look at Celestial.
Hey, Celestial Passage, it's story time.
Story time for who?
Me! Tell me a story. I have no idea what they're talking. And if somebody's seen me do something, I'd like to know what they're talking about.
It will be revealed if you want to come with.
I think we
See
should.
that just sounds creepy.
I think we should go.
Of course you do.
Is Frida saying that sounds creepy?
Yes!
Um,
Frida has no filter.
they
None.
look towards Frida again. I do not understand your kind at all, and many of us are maybe not entirely positively disposed towards your kind.
Many people aren't, and I don't even understand my kind, so...
But you are clearly a demon slayer, and that is rare and important in these lands. And as such, well, we could give you more context on this. We could show you what it means to protect the balance of nature.
I like context. Hey, Brainer, how's your wiggity sense on all this bullshit?
Yeah.
He's not precisely known for balance being a sorcerer, Frailer.
It doesn't matter. I trust Brainer's wiggity sense.
Considering we've met, and DM, I did write down the name here, so I'm going to try and pronounce it. Needmere? I think it was the ranger.
Yep. That's the man in the group.
Yeah. Considering that we've met these before, And to be honest, the first time we've met them, they could have easily dealt with us then. I don't foresee any issues. If we
Need
wanted
me
to,
will actually
it was-
smirk a bit when you're saying that, and just kind of, sort of lean back to on one of the tree trunks and just sort of.
Okay, just because, yeah. I trust Brenner's sense in these things. He was the one who first recognized the demons for what they were, so.
In short, I know I'm taking a long time to get to the point, but in short, you are invited to Tamorin.
Since I've never met these folks, and I honestly don't entirely understand the whole concept of the whole demon slaying thing, should I roll an insight just to make sure that they're on the level as far as I'm concerned?
Sure, you can do that. You have no idea. Obviously, it's just passing over your
Rainer
head.
and I killed some demons, and some shit went down, and that's why we had to behead a bunch of people. So apparently they really like us for that.
It's probably unique to find demon slayers.
It's
Good to know.
uncommon.
Good to know.
Especially
tend to live short but eventful lives.
Especially within sorcerers and wolfkin, seeing as we tend to be lumped in with demons. Or
Well,
people like to
some
lump
tend
us
to
in with.
attract them.
The leaf-dressed one will look towards Big. I can see that you're confused. That is not strange at all. You have a role to play in this as well. That is probably not revealed to you yet, but it has been revealed to the Master of Sight.
And that's the creepy part.
What is creepy
I'm trying to
about
master sight as well, so does that make me pre-creepy?
You were already
Not when you're not talking in riddles. If you're gonna talk in riddles and talk about seeing us together, and I'm gonna get creeped out.
I could
So-
go and look and see what you did in the past.
You can go ahead.
The Master of Sight has done scrying and has seen you in visions.
Rita, it's for lack of better terms, it's just the way that they do what they do. Just like how I can manipulate blood, they use it to their essence, magics, what have you. to-
That's fine and great. They just
Wait.
don't have to be so mysterious and creepy with it. That you could just say they had a vision.
What
At
did you
low
do,
levels, we
Blood?
can hone our senses, and further on, we can see into the past and into the future.
The leaf-dressed one will look a bit, maybe awkward. It's one of those for those of you who have good insight. You don't have to roll. It was one of those. But I was being super clear. How was that not clear when I was explaining it? Types of looks.
Just different languages.
Yes.
Frida's empathetic but not smart.
So you guys are demon slayers, so you killed some demons, which is a good thing.
Yes.
So you got chased out of town, and now you're out here in the middle of nowhere. We had crow for supper yesterday, and you're
With
trying
four.
to figure out, can we make it to the river so we don't die of dehydration? This sounds like the shittiest job ever.
In our defense,
I'm in.
the,
I'm in.
You've already
Let's go.
signed a bad deal, so may as well continue.
in our defense, it's because we were kicked out of town because the demon person possessed by the demon was fucking the person in government.
Don't care.
Well,
I'm in. This sounds like a shitty job that I might die doing. I'm in.
Okay.
At least if you die, you get out of it.
That's
Politics
right.
does lead to strange bedfellows, so yeah, it's
So back to the offerings here from the elves in front of us. Are we interested in going to
Yes.
meet this?
Oh yeah, we're gonna go to the elfin party.
Have you ever tried to do any trade with an elf? Oh, I'll trade
No.
you 3 sticks for an acorn. No thanks.
You're dealing with the wrong elves.
Listen, Big, we just got invited to a party where Brainar and I are the guests of honors.
You know what? You're right. If there's a meal involved that doesn't involve nuts, squirrels, and magic mushrooms, I'm down with it. Yeah, let's do it.
First of all, I made you boar and stuffed crow.
Yes, you are an immense bore. Oh, whoops. I'm sorry. No, you're right. It was delicious.
Oh. I know the seer saw this as well, but it's still embarrassing.
Eventually, I'm gonna stuff and eat you. You know that, right? If you keep opening your big mouth.
I have apples.
And this is like the scene here in the forest in your camp where Bieg the halfling and the 8-foot wolven are having this conversation and just, looking at each other. It's several feet of distance between your faces because...
To make it even better is Frida would probably have leaned down so she could stick her face in Biggs just to get in there, and because she's angry. So she's growling under her breath and like a really frustrated mother.
Exactly.
And I'm just pleading with my eyes for the elves to lead us on so we can stop now.
Big has so much empathy, she probably just boop, right on the nose.
This halfling is adorable. It's just not... She's adorable.
It's like when Eleanor does something bad.
Pretty much.
Yes.
I'm in. Something might kill me and get me out of this hell I found myself.
Yes, let's go further into the forest here.
My name is Mergolene, says the leaf-dressed one. I am a druid of the Golden Bough, and I am also with the Red Runners. We protect these lands from all things demonic and that would disrupt the balance of nature. We have been the protectors of the Forbidden Lands for a long time.
Well, I'll assume that means you're nicer than the Raven Sisters.
You will get a... The Raven Sisters are also dedicated to protecting these lands in a human way.
It's an honor to make your acquaintance.
We're often good friends and allies with the Raven Sisters.
What happened?
I think something went terribly wrong in Fort Riverstone.
2 in a row is a little weird.
2?
Yeah.
At this point, Mergolene gets a bit...
So the Raven Sister that came in after we killed the first one was a straight up, part demon crazy person. And she made my friend's head explode before she died.
Must have heard the legends of the Marigal. We were pretty sure that that's what's one of them.
At this, Mergolene perks up immediately. It was a Marigal?
Named Martha. But yes.
Oozing gooey black blood.
That is a demonic being, as far as I understand it.
Yeah, so we technically killed 2. And another worshipper.
Well, indeed, demon slayers you are. And once demons learn of your trade, I'm sure they will try to address your disruptions.
Not really a trade per se, it just kind of keeps happening.
There's no
you
going
come
back
across
now.
a demon, and what else do you do with it other than kill it?
There's no going back now. You've already disrupted a Marigal.
While they're talking, Soren is going to be picking up camp.
Yep.
Do you think the Marigal could have showed up because we killed the first demon?
That's very possible.
So is it the next one up on the totem pole? Is there a hierarchy that I should understand? Because if things are going to be coming to kill me, I would like to know a little bit more about them, because this was an accident. Well, it wasn't an accident that we killed them, but it was an accident that we ran into them.
Understandable.
We were really just trying to investigate taxes.
At this, Mergolene blinks a bit, because what is that? But, yeah. there are many demonic beings in these Forbidden Lands. Some were unleashed and wander at their own will. Much of what has happened because of demons in these lands, and by this time you're packing up and starting to move. Basically, she's going to explain as you move. There's no reason why not. And this goes back centuries, the way the humans reckon it. And Zygofer, the sorcerer, and at this point Margolin glances towards Brenner. I'm sure Brenner knows of Zygofer.
Mm-hmm.
Unleashed a great many demons that still plague the Forbidden Lands today. And a lot of them are roving wanderers, wreaking havoc wherever they can, which is what I think was the case for the Tome in Fort Riverstone. But yes, I'm sure some still are trucking with the Rust Brothers, possibly. And could there be a hierarchy of demons? Demon lords commanding other demons? Absolutely.
Just seemed awful funny that they were able to infiltrate both the government and the Raven Sisters. And then, like, literally the next day after we killed the first one, send a marigold, did you call it?
Yes.
I thought they were flowers.
Marigold.
Oh.
Yeah.
Slight pronunciation difference.
Each demon has its own strength and its own weakness.
And they would definitely try to infiltrate the Raven Sisters.
That would, I'm sure, please a great many demons if they could do that. Raven Sisters tend to be strong adversaries to demons. They apply the druidic arts like we do.
So, speaking of, as we're walking along our merry way here,
Yep.
I'm now going to take the opportunity to sense magic.
Feel free.
Hear me.
So, just because it's been a bit, I'm going to spend
Spell
one
magic.
willpower.
Yep. That gives you a second. If you want to use the second as well, that would be 2 dice, of course.
Alright, 2 dice, my bad.
Yep. There you go. Not a problem at all. You will feel if anyone is using magic within a short range.
Yep. Yeah, it's basically just that if there's any magic in the nice little party of us walking along and talking.
Yeah, let me have a quick look. Just to double check. Oh, that was a bit. Sorry.
Not saying I don't trust the elves. I'm just saying I don't trust the elves. Out of character,
Trust
of
these
course.
elves. It's your elves we can't trust.
And so the Discord goes, right? They don't actually seem to have any magic items on them. Nor has any spell been invoked right now. So no, there's no foul play with magic here. Of course, as you do your spell working, Margolin will recognize the spell you're casting because that's easy. Celestial will as well. But they seem fine with it. Margolin will sort of shoot those glances at Brennar.
In our defense, we have good reason to be paranoid.
Yes, you do. You do indeed.
That doesn't mean anything.
You will spend the first quarter day following the elves up north into the dark forest. But if it's because they know these lands really well, or because you're just lucky, you don't run into anything dangerous or threatening during this first quarter day.
No offense to our hosts here, but if we don't find food, things are going to get bad.
There will be food when we arrive.
Okay.
How far are we? Are we there yet?
We will arrive
It's
there by
not
the time
much further now.
by the time the sun starts coming down. We will arrive. If you need some whey bread, and of course Needmere has some kind of pack there, he can share some whey bread, jerky, dried fruits.
So Soren will basically just, as they're walking along, just like scoop up some grubs or something from like a branch to chew on as he walks. Not food per se, but just kind of gross everybody else out.
Yeah.
Frida doesn't even flinch.
Not even when whipped.
Because you are indeed walking into the elven part of these lands. And the rain continues, but it's quiet. These forests is really hard to navigate. It's the dark part of the forest. But they know the way, and they will be able to show you all sorts of paths that would have been hard to find on your own. But thanks to their guidance, by the time the sun starts coming down, you will in fact have traveled 2 hexes. And you can see, this is when the sun is getting low. It's still raining. A tower jutting out of the forest, and around it a circular wall. And it's really like you come out of the forest and it's right there. It was hard to see it before. And the way that this wall, this stone wall that curves, it's a perfect curve. It's been adorned with all sorts of frescoes and mosaics on the outside. There are glowing blues and greens and reds, showing scenes that you have no context for, but it's people, elves, a lot of elves, but there's also others, animals, that are just adorning on the outside of the wall. And as you approach the gates to this great castle, open up for you to pass inside. There are a couple of elves standing up on the walls, on the parapets. They are also armed. They show absolutely no hostility towards you, of course. And in fact, one of them is saying, "Right in time for supper," as you approach.
As we walk in, I will mention to our guides, oh hey, by the way, about like, I don't know, a day or so walk from where we were at, there's a dwarf with a broken leg and a really cool balloon you guys could maybe pick up.
She doesn't seem to quite understand the concept of the balloon, but broken
He
dwarf,
wounded
they
himself
do
when his
understand.
flying machine crashed into the trees.
Yeah, that.
They get fascinating
Less
ideas,
is
don't
less
they?
is more here. His equipment got stuck in a tree. We need you guys to help it take it out.
I'm sure we
I
can
thought
send
that
some
I was
runners.
perfectly clear.
Exactly. So you're passing.
Soren looks distinctly uncomfortable but will accompany the party.
Is it the elves?
Raynar actually will lift his hood up a little bit further to hide his face.
Rita will whisper to Soren, "Too many walls."
How many walls where they shouldn't be?
It's not so much.
I get it.
It's not so much how you look, because in terms of just your looks, most humans wouldn't be able to tell any difference at all between Brennar and Celestial. In terms of your kin, and your kinship, and your heritage. It's more how you move. Brennar moves distinctly like a human.
That stick up his butt.
Whereas...
I always thought it was the other way around.
Oh, no. Humans and their ilk are far more absorbed. I see you nodding.
Honestly, until I met Brainer, I hadn't met a whole lot of humans, and they really don't like me, so...
I see Soren keeps that trend.
Yeah, well, I mean, there was this one girl, Marita, she really liked me, we were friends, but other than that, they tend to not like me.
She's the one that you were performing the rites for when we met you.
Yes.
Humans have their place in creation. They say...
To be fair, I don't like anybody, so...
I've noticed. Unless they have a lot of money, which Wolfkin aren't really known for.
It's not the people, it's the items.
I don't actually care about the money either.
When paid to do a job, he'll do a job.
Gives me an excuse to wander.
Hey, at least we're making the job exciting.
I wouldn't say that. I don't know, that crow put off a tough fight. I don't know how a demon slayer ever managed to deal with it.
It may have been
Almost as difficult as climbing that tree.
It wasn't as hard as eating the damn thing, so it's fine.
My
Man,
crow
the lot of
was
you needed a full day to study that tree to be able to climb it.
delicious. And listen, I was tired. We had just fought a rebellion. I'd just done some hunting. It had been a long day, okay?
Now, if the branches didn't start 20 feet up, off the ground, we would have been able to climb it a lot easier.
Well, I didn't really have a problem with the height of the branches. It was more they weren't big enough to hold my weight.
As long as we don't run into a demon tree, you'll be fine.
And if we do, I got a fix for that.
I'll just chop it down.
Fire?
If I could have just chopped it down, it would have been fine.
You could have.
Well, I didn't want to hurt the dwarf inside of it.
The dwarf on it?
That's what I meant.
The elves are pretty quiet as you're having this discussion within the group.
I understand that the way you guys met me may lead you to believe something different. But I'm actually a really nice, caring person.
I don't know, let's
Rainer's
backtrack.
going to be quiet on that comment.
There was
I
a
see your
giant
companion
fire,
quite
we had
silent.
a big meal, and your companion is gone. That's all I know about our encounter when I first met you.
My companion got her head blown off by a demon.
And there's a demon lore expert
Let's go
in
see
our
if we can
party
find that.
that's talking about blood magic.
Each of us work our own expertise in certain ways. From what I can tell, you like to talk a lot, and your talking does whatever it does other than give me headaches.
I just appreciate that we chose to dig a ditch verbally with our lovely hosts right here.
Yeah.
There was
so-
going to be food, so...
As you move in through the doorway, the gateway into the actual castle,
They rethink letting us in.
yeah, they are letting you in. You will notice when you're coming through that there's more walls and there's quite a few passages. You're coming into a garden that is absolutely beautifully laid out, and I think Beeg particularly can appreciate this coming from a gardening people. They have it's interesting to see because it doesn't look like, in some humans when they put up gardens, it's mastery of nature. In this case, it's more allowing nature to find its way in special guided fashions without necessarily imposing their will too much on it. So it's a very
harmony.
Yes, there's harmony here. There is
balance.
Trees and streams that float. The streams float past exactly where it needs to be to give the small trees their nourishment. Grass grows in patches here and there, but there's also all sorts of herbs and other plants, vegetables that you could possibly need for nourishment. And Margoline will turn and say, Blarimi here will show you to your quarters for tonight. You can put your belongings there, and then she will invite you to your evening meal. And tomorrow, we're going to invite you to the masters.
Thank you.
If you care to approach them.
The what?
To meet the master.
Yeah.
What?
The master of the seer.
Oh.
The reason why we're here.
Okay.
The person that saw you that really creeped you out.
Yeah! Okay, that sounds fun.
We do not very often receive visitors to this place. So Needmere and Larimi will accompany you and be your guides.
Okay.
Much appreciated.
You're a little isolated out here in the middle of nowhere.
That is the entire idea.
It's the way of things.
I kind of figured that.
So do we have to sleep in a room, or can I just bunk down here in the garden?
You can bunk wherever you want.
Excellent.
Well, not exactly wherever you want. There are some areas that are for the golden bough, if you will. But Needmere and Blarimi can show you where.
I don't understand that word.
What word?
For the golden bough? What?
Golden bow.
Oh, sorry, I misheard.
Golden bow, golden bow.
That is our druidic order.
Yeah, I heard something different, sorry. That was a Jess mistake, not a Frida mistake.
And there, Margolaine will lead you to it, while the other two elves. And at this point, you will maybe notice that Blarimi, the young woman, she's been watching you intently just about all day, and the longer she's been watching you, the more there's a bit of a smile on her lips. I have to say, she says, when Margolaine has left, now that you have to excuse Margolaine, they can be very formal. But I have to say, it's so exciting to meet people of other kin here. That doesn't happen very often at all. I've hardly had the chance to meet. And then Larimi looks at Frida with, apparently still a bit unnerving. But she seems very excited to meet a human and a halfling. And also the two half-elves.
It's okay. It's the height. It freaks everybody out.
It does. It's yeah. But accepting, if Margolaine says you're okay, you're okay. Clearly.
Frida tries to smile, but it just kind of comes out as a snarl. The mauve teeth.
Yeah.
It's a Frida thing.
Needmere has a much more haughty sort of approach and a much more arrogant attitude. Not hostile in any way, just
while they're all making nice and being diplomatic and stuff, since we're still in the garden, Soren's gonna sniff the water, make sure it's safe to drink, and then drink some, and then look around for any vegetables that he can just uproot, wash, and eat, because we haven't eaten today, and they promised us food.
You did eat today.
They intend to let
Didn't
you
we?
eat
Oh,
No.
no, it was
by
the
a
day before.
table.
Yeah. Once we get our stuff set aside and cleaned up, it's supper time.
It's not a very far walk at all. In fact, the door that you're designated to, it's leading into the actual sort of outer wall, where there is enough space for a few chambers, small. It's more like monastic cells, really.
That's fine.
But there are beds in there, and they're very comfortably made and prepared for you, and also just astoundingly beautiful to look at for anyone who cares about crafts, like Brennar. These look like they're wooden frames, but you'd almost expect these wooden framed beds to they're so fresh that you almost expect them to walk away or something.
It's like
Possibly
living.
still living trees, in fact. You can't be
No.
entirely sure.
Very interesting.
But also with carvings on them that it looks like on the wooden legs on these beds, they're carved in like plants and vines. It looks like vines climbing up the legs of the bed. And if you look carefully, every once in a while there will be some glint. Maybe it's like it's crystalline stone that's been put there to make it look like a fairy or something looking out between the carven woodworks, the carven leaves. It's just a delight to look at for any crafter.
I enjoy looking. Not as a crafter, but as someone that appreciates it. I'll clean up for supper.
Yeah.
My bed's really shiny. Can you make sure it's not magical?
I'll go over and actually check it because of everything going on. Yeah.
Feel free to roll for that as well. You only
I don't
need to
trust
use
anything
the
anymore.
if you want to do. Let's see now. Since magic is rank 1, isn't it?
Since magic is rank 1.
So
yeah.
you can do safe casting with just the one die if you want.
Okay, I will save cast with 1 die.
So you don't blow your head off. You're fine. There is no magic active in this room at this point.
Yeah, so you're good, Frida. It's just really pretty. Makes you feel any better, you probably can pick up some dirt and like rub it on the crystals.
Just check in. We've been through some weird shit, man.
I honestly thought some of the leaves were gonna like come up and tangle at night or whatever, but it doesn't look to be anything magical about it.
Or they were like somehow using it to spy on us or something.
They don't need to.
If they've seen your future and they can see your past, they can probably see what you're doing now. So
Sharpening one's senses is a much lower application of the way of sight.
Yeah.
How much can they see? Like, do I have to be ashamed when I go to the bathroom or something?
No, it's perfectly natural.
More so?
not unless you are normally.
Halfling guilt runs really deep.
It's the newest racial trait.
So it
If you
happens when you
just
grow up in a
knew.
family with like 15 kids.
If you
You
knew
think
what
it
was
usually
going
would go
on
the other way?
inside
I
a
was gonna
halfling
say,
home.
My family was pretty big, but there's no body guilt there. Maybe it's a Wolfkin thing.
Although Soren doesn't like civilization, he understands there are some expectations, so he will clean some of the road smell off of himself.
Nobody seems to mind the road smell. Everything here, they have
Then I won't worry about it.
They have strategically placed herbs that leave off very nice and gentle scents in all sorts of places. There's lavender, there's all sorts of other herbs that spread nice scents. And now that the sun is starting to come down, you'll see small silver lamps that are being lit here and there that spread a gentle, nice little light. wherever needed. But you will be, you're basically shown to put your belongings in these little cells, and then there's no locks anywhere here. By the way, they're not bothering with that, and they're not going to lock you in. I could add, but there is this sort of a mezzanine running from the outer wall in towards an inner wall that you haven't been inside yet, and it has a nice cover. It's roofed, and under that they have set a table with all sorts of dishes for you, including wine for those who care, and ale.
Oh, lovely.
This seems to be like a nice party, so Frida will try and brush some of the
Yeah,
bits out
and
of her
you're
fur and
eating.
clean up a little bit.
Your two hosts, Needmere and Blarimi, are the only elves that are accompanying you at this point. Though there are other elves that walk past every once in a while, and whomever is manning the parapet is glancing towards you every once in a while as well. They seem curious about you, but maybe either they don't know how to approach you, or maybe they have other jobs to do right now, or whatever the rationale is, they're gonna leave you alone at this point and just fill your bellies.
Brainer, am I scaring people off again?
No, they just seem to be preoccupied with their own stuff. It's almost like they could see what we're about to do. Speaking of, I'm going to go fill my face.
I'm going to enjoy a lovely dinner with my elven friends.
Here then, Needmere will show you to all the different dishes. There is venison, there is all sorts of things that the forest can offer, cooked up in very nice fashion. If any of you have lost the point of empathy, you will gain it back from eating this delicious meal. Yes, apparently they have very highly qualified chefs in these parts too.
Does that count the point of empathy Frida's about to lose by dumping food into a bag for later?
Because I'm totally about to do that. I was literally waiting to say
I
that.
saw the look in your eyes.
Some of it might not keep terribly long, but there you go, yeah. There's definitely enough food on this table to last you for 2 days, should you pack the rest up. Which
I will totally take a doggy bag. Pun intended.
Pun intended.
A wolfie bag.
Brainer will actually ask if they mind if he takes some of the wine for later.
Go ahead, feel free. Needmere offers even more in your chalice. It's quite delicious wine.
Frida will have some, but she will not get sloshed.
That's going to drink a glass of wine and then switch to clear water.
You might recognize some of this, Big, because some of the wine that presented is in fact from halfling vineyards, imported from the south.
The finest.
The finest.
Alright, Soren's not gonna drink, he'll have like an ale, but he is going to eat like he doesn't know when his next meal is coming.
Which is true, because he
Yes,
doesn't.
he doesn't.
As you keep eating, there will be a few other elves coming and asking if they can join, because they are curious and want to hear about any tidings and news that you might be able to share, stories from afar. They do not apparently leave the Dankwood very often.
World sucks, rebellion in the south, demons running amok. Cost me the gravy.
In their defense, the rebellion was kind of our fault to get rid of the demon-worshipping government.
They look a
Tax
bit
law is
confused.
very complex. Very complex tax law.
This is really a moment for Beak to shine. If you want to sing a song, or if any of the elves ever find out that you are in fact a minstrel, they will want to hear a song. And even if they don't find out, they will want to hear a song from strangers, because you have different
absolutely.
songs.
With the, I guess the inspiration from the wine from my hometown, and a full belly of actual food. No offense. I would definitely play a tune again using my flute.
I slide over
cook
some
you
of
next.
the roast crow and boar in front of Big.
Well, you succeed. You put on a good performance. It's not the best performance you've ever done, but it's solid enough.
Him sliding the food over, kind of like, whoa.
So, is this a song, or are you playing an instrument?
I would have been playing my flute in this case. So.
Yes. And it's a beautiful tune. Is it? What is the genre here? Is it something funny? Is it something meant to moisten the eyes of the audience?
I was able to glean enough from the earlier conversation that they're kind of in awe of the fact that A, we're travelers, and B, that the rest of the party was kind of instrumental. Pardon the pun. I'm trying. In taking down these demons, so I would probably try and fit that in. Unfortunately, I don't know the full story, so that's why it's a lot of ad-libbing and it's not quite perfect yet.
That means that it's
air
kind
quotes
of
perfect.
adventure. It's almost an adventurous ballad, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will notice that some of the elves are duly amused. It's never more than 4 or 5 of them in attendance.
I see trees of green,
Exactly.
clear waters too. Sitting here on my duff, eating with you.
Tell us of your lands, Big. We know nothing of that part of the world.
Well, we try, much like yourselves, to try and keep to ourselves. There are a few, like me, who act as emissaries or traders or, missionaries of goodwill. So, well, no, in that vein, you should probably support our cause, because, adventuring around, slaying demons, helping, the disenfranchised, and sitting here with empty coffers and low food, we kind of need all the help you can get.
Rainer just shakes his head at that point.
One of them will comment that you seem to have a noble heart.
And I'll roll manipulation for that.
Cough, 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 cough. Holds open empty bag, cough.
They seem pleased and positively inclined towards this strange person of a kin they almost never see. During this supper, in fact, I think Brennar will notice that Blarini is kind of throwing him glances every once in a while.
Ooh.
How you doing?
And she will in fact even strike up a conversation with Brennar. I heard a rumor.
Oh?
Yes. Someone said that you're a frailer.
That is true. Yes.
I hope you don't take any offense, but I heard a lot about frailers when people speak about the stories of Zugo. But you're here with the Demon Slayer and with Celestial. So
Rita's ears will perk up at this, and she will keep an ear out to this conversation in case they start threatening her friend.
Hey.
so surely
Soren will gesture with like the turkey leg or whatever. So like he's a demon slayer too. Pass the potatoes.
Well,
she's,
as far as we know, anyway.
At this point, she gets even more impressed. That means that you're like us, that you guard nature.
Yes, in an odd sort of fashion, I guess I do.
That makes me so happy, she says, and she smiles in a very big smile.
Well, I'm glad that I'm able to make someone happy. He says,
she's actually
looking over at Frida.
Oh.
She is indeed a very cute elf. She might be younger than Brennar. She might be much older. It's impossible to tell with these ones.
It's really hard to tell with elves. Yep.
With your herbalism background, there's probably something you could take to help with that.
Count the rings.
Oh
Yes,
my.
she is flirting with Brennar.
Yeah. Yep. Well, Brainer will definitely take this opportunity and lull to flirt back and indulge his senses and continue to truthfully drink wine and, unlike Frida, probably get a little too smashed.
As Frida walks
wind
by
up
to go
under a
back to
strange
her
tree.
room, she will lean down and whisper to Brainer, "Please don't knock up an elf." We
No
can't
promises.
afford that.
You only live
Don't you
once.
worry.
I mean, if Brennar is interested in such nocturnal activities, I'm sure Blarini could would not be terribly adverse to such suggestions.
Yeah, with everything that's probably gone on, he probably wouldn't. Yeah, he wouldn't pass up the opportunity.
Recover some empathy.
Exactly.
In the background, you hear like an almost rendition of sexual healing.
Yeah, exactly.
Brennar and Blarini kind of wander off from the feast at some point and disappear into the garden to a strategically placed area.
Yep.
It's my bedroom. The hell?
Hey, it happens at parties, man.
What happens in the Elven Glade stays in the Elven Glade.
Clearly. Well, that depends
Well,
on
that's
you
fine.
guys.
I legit don't care. I'm not sleeping in a room with doors. You guys can just put up with it.
Rooms don't have doors.
Where were you born? In a water den?
Rooms don't have dwarves.
Needmere will in fact, of all the people here that Needmere would strike up most of the conversation with, it's actually Frida.
Okay.
You do have a blade.
Yes,
So
I
does
do.
he.
I have a very big sword.
Yes,
Yeah.
you do.
That's what she said?
That's what turned Brenner off.
Exactly. Oh dear. Needmere's sword is not a long sword, it's a broadsword.
Ah.
It's not long, but it's thick.
It's not a duelist, but a fighter.
I think all the levity from the wine consumed and ale, which is, by the way, delicious. It's hard to find this type of... For those of you who are not used to civilization, which is most of you, I'm going to say everyone except Big, I don't think you would have tasted wine like this. It's...
Ignore what Soren says.
Considering, isn't where Frida's from close to the Halfling lands?
Yes.
Just because you guys get hungry
But that
sometimes.
depends on whether
You
Wolf
might
can
have.
indulge in wine or not. I don't know how much he would do that.
Any port in a storm, I would assume.
I guess, yeah. Yeah, whenever Wolf can raid a halfling
How about a good
village,
red?
it's entirely possible that you can get good quality wine.
Yeah.
Let's stop drinking the port. Let's switch to a red or a
Yeah, well, you
Riesling.
have your Wolfkin feast where you have roast halfling leg with
Feast days.
wine. Yeah,
Oh, feast days.
yeah, exactly. On those major holidays.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's
So what
Like
path do you
drinking-
follow?
it's like drinking spring water scented with all sorts of different fantastic tastes, like pearls.
How do you taste a pearl?
Very carefully.
Depends on which angle she's at.
The drops
Wow.
glint like pearls, I was going to say, as you pour them up in the glasses.
Glistening,
Yes.
shining, shimmering.
And it's very
Sorry,
refreshing
Mikhail, the
indeed.
party's just called Filthy Minds.
It's the good wine.
Any fatigue from this trek through the forest is definitely led to rest by this meal. But the conversation that Needmere strikes up is really about weapons.
So what paths do you follow?
He follows the path of the blade.
Interesting.
He's learned a trick or two, and he would be...
I've been looking to learn a little bit about the blade. I'm more of a path of shield myself, but always looking for new techniques.
Well, if you don't want to spend time listening to the masters, which can be dreary enough. You see, I'm not at all a member of the Golden Bow. I am a Red Runner through and through.
Interesting. I would like to know what they know about me, because if somebody says they know something about me, I'd like to know what it is.
Of course. Of course.
You're tall, you're furry, you have ears.
They
You have a big
give
sword.
us very important guidance. But if we have some time later on, I would be very happy to cross blades with you on the practice field.
I'm always interested in learning new techniques.
And I'm very interested to cross blades with one of your kin. I have not done that before.
Really?
At least not in recent memory, no. They don't come up here very often.
No, I don't imagine they don't. They, my kind normally tends not to leave their wood.
I heard that some of them have started to put up their services like sellswords and trackers.
A few. Very few. The braver few.
I look forward to meeting some of them at some point. But you are here, and you are a demon slayer.
I'm sure you will. I am.
We should definitely cross
Supposedly.
blades tomorrow if we have the time.
I would like that.
It is a standing invitation.
Excellent. I will take you up on that if there's enough time after I talk to these oracle people.
Of course. Celestial, you will have also ample opportunity for conversation. There are other druids here.
Yay, druids.
Obviously. And one of them is Margolene, who will join when you're done with supper, really.
Mm.
And she will take
Thank
a seat
you.
close to you because you are also a druid, like her. Or they are.
Thank you for the lovely spread.
Oh, you're most welcome, they say. I understand that you have followed the Druidic path as well? They just look at your vestments.
Celestial Passage nods. Yes, I have. I've been following the way of sight so far.
You are a druid after my own tastes. Though my choice has been the path of shifting shapes and healing more.
I'd been thinking about pursuing the shifting forms in the not too distant future.
Should time be able to afford us this, I would be happy to show you some of the learnings that I've made on the path.
If it was presented the opportunity, it would be my honor.
Have you had the opportunity to be invited to join the Golden Bow yet?
Sadly, I think I missed an opportunity when I set out with my companions.
We should remedy that.
That would be quite lovely. Is how I've tried to carry myself.
Have you gone through the rite of passage for, well, to be eligible to join?
I believe I have. I must meditate on it. It's been a long journey thus far.
Of course. Of course. If the Master of Sight is right, we are at the start of a most interesting journey, I think.
It felt as if it had weight to it when we met Braynar and Frida.
The gods willed that, I'm sure. Flo and Clay have had a role in this.
Mm. I cannot disagree or argue.
Meanwhile, I mean, is there anyone that Big or Soren would want to talk to? Soren is obviously a bit awkward and just passes the sauce and fills his mouth, but there's definitely people who would, be interested in talking to him because he is a human and therefore strange in these lands.
Yeah, Soren is, if somebody tries to engage him, he basically pushes them off with a couple of gruff words. You get enough so that they can tell that he doesn't want to be here and feels very uncomfortable and is watching everybody.
League would definitely be trying to subtly get closer and listen in to the seer. Basically, in the respects of trying to get, next week's poker game kind of
Trying to get the gossip before everyone else.
No, pretty much. And, it's like kind of that, like, in it for their own, it's like, well, where should we go next sort of thing, because this place has been nothing for trade or for anything.
There's definitely elves who want to trade stories with you, if nothing else. If you tell them some stories about your homelands, some legends from there, they are willing to trade with their own legends.
I'm sure Big knows enough about what we've told her about our story that she could bullshit her way through it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's entirely possible.
I can bullshit without any information too. It's just a matter of making it more believable.
Mm. I'm just looking for if since you have shared their story, they can share a legend right back. The legend of the Eye of the Rose. This comes as a conversation. This is when they've been having the elf in question that's been talking to Big. You've been sharing from your homelands, and this elf starts reminiscing a bit and talks about how this place was built very much like the Eye of the Rose, which was once upon a time, long ago, before the Blood Mist, and even before the Alder Wars, was an elven fortress and a city. But it was lost during the war. And then the elf shares that this place, the Eye of the Rose, it's in Foylenmark, which has now been overrun by orcs. And the orcs of the Forbidden Lands, they've sought their place in the world ever since they were sent to war against humans. And they fought bravely and, of course, earned their freedom. And many of them live bitter lives as miscreants and robbers in the forests. But word is now that there is a new orc leader that is holding court in that abandoned elven fortress of the Eye of the Rose. And he is said to call himself Emperor Hroka the First and the Greatest. And merchants who visited the place, they say that this emperor has bought a priceless ruby that he intends to bestow upon his spouse as to prove his worthiness as an emperor.
I would definitely perk up at that kind of information. Of course, to spread the goodwill. But I would try and press for more information, like where can we find this sort of thing? What do you know? Like, how can we get in? Is he into
Tell me what
romance?
you know.
Well, the elf
Is
in
he
question,
into...
he's sitting there and he's dressed in druidic garb as well, and he looks somewhere between angry and sad. That city was lost to us because of the Rust Brothers and Zugofer, the evil sorcerer. Those demonic hordes destroyed our home city, and now the orcs are trying to use it for their emperor. I mean, it's silly. It's a mockery, truly.
Something. You've got a team of demon slayers.
But the orcs aren't demons.
Which they aren't. And if that ruby that the rumor is speaking of is an elven ruby, well, that would be the ultimate sacrilege, would it not?
Absolutely. We will champion your cause, find that ruby, maybe return it, and we'll definitely go there. And if there's demons behind it, or if it's just orcs, we're your miscreant troop of murder hobos.
Rubies belong in their home. And let this be known to all. As a minstrel, you will know how to spread the word. Anyone who comes across an elven ruby and does not return it to its proper home will incur the wrath of all of our kin.
Does it pay anything to go get it?
The elf looks a bit insulted at the suggestion that they'd have to pay for it.
Go get it yourself.
Maybe you should rephrase it as financing the campaign.
No, I'm good.
If they have a giant priceless ruby, I'm pretty sure they have enough lying around to fund an army that we could probably fund ourselves for a little while too.
Out of curiosity, because I've got the book, so I know something about the background. What would Soren know about the history of the elves and the orcs? Probably nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it's centuries back, right? So.
Let me see.
Roll lore?
No, I have nothing in lore, so I'm going to assume he knows nothing about it.
Fair enough.
But Soren does believe in prophet-therapy.
Much so. As the conversation goes on, and as people are talking about like stories of their homelands and seeing like Brainer make this love connection and stuff like that, Soren is just going to look kind of like grumpier than usual and even more resolute until he just can't take all of this talk about home and everything and just goes off to the garden by himself.
He goes home to the garden.
At which point Frida will follow, because Wolf Mom.
It'll be met with a very, very blunt fuck off.
I don't need you, Mom.
Are you sure you don't want to talk about it? We can talk about it. It might make you feel better.
No, it won't.
It's gonna be okay. We'll be out of the walls soon.
And he will just like tune her out and go to bed.
Okay, you get a good rest.
Go to the flower bed.
He's cranky. He needs to sleep, Mom.
But assuming that Frida is there for like a couple seconds, when he gets ready to bed, like as he's basically changing into his like bed clothes, his body is like just a mass of scar tissue.
Which isn't uncommon where Frida's from. It wouldn't even make her think twice.
No, it looks like whatever did this, because it looks like creature attacks. It was enough to kill him. Like, you know when you see the people that have been like attacked by sharks and the like?
Yeah.
That sort of scar tissue, only not just one bite, but several.
Okay. She'll look kind of questioningly. I'll do a lore. Would it be lore or medicine to know what would do that?
Either way, I'd say.
Okay.
Or survival, even. Whichever is better for you.
My healing is actually the best.
Alright.
That scares me.
I have good empathy.
Yep.
For this group.
Yeah. It's definitely a wild animal. Like, it's not like it's a monster or anything. It looks like he was probably mauled pretty severely by a large bear.
Okay.
And the attack was unbearable.
And the wounds, the scars look like they're like decades old.
Okay. At that point, Frida will let him have his space, because obviously she's not going to get anywhere, so.
Yeah, and I mean that's basically the evening. You have a very nice supper, probably the best you've had since you set out from all your points of origin, etc. Enjoyable company, more enjoyable for some maybe than for others. Though, yeah, not for everyone. Glances at Soren.
Soren enjoyed himself in Soren's way.
Yes, exactly. You've heard stories. You've exchanged potential, the potential for training and working together with some of them. It's just a really enjoyable long evening of conversation and food and drink.
Before she goes to bed,
Yeah.
Frida will go check out their kitchen setup.
Raid their spice cupboard.
I'm sure you can find
Possibly.
an elf there to guide you who will be happy to share, and it's a solid setup. It's strange to you that they bother to make the kitchen this level of beautiful. Again, the carvings and ornamentations that they have put into everything else. Some of the mosaics here, it's like when Frida is moving through one of the hallways, and she kind of jumps at a moment because she thought there was someone by her side, but it's really just a mosaic of an elven figure. You just thought that hand was coming out of the wall, but it's really not. It was just a trick of the light.
I'm gonna have to get Brainard to check the magic everywhere.
I'm gonna.
This place
help
is
him
terrifying.
tidy up afterwards.
It's so far every magic check he has done has been nothing. It's just remarkably lifelike craftsmanship.
Terrifying.
If you recall
Frida hates it.
those stone statues from the Renaissance and antiquity,
Yeah.
when the masters are able to create veils that are absolutely lifelike out of marble,
Life from stone.
Yeah.
like that, but more. It's really the illusion of the veils fluttering from.
She
the
grumbles
wind.
about something about how difficult the mosaic would be to clean after you're done in the kitchen.
And that's the level of craftsmanship that they've put into everything around here. Like,
Why would you
the
put
ladle,
little dips in the tables?
the ladle that you're using to stir the pot with, the pot itself, you know, it's just...
The pots don't need little leaves carved on them. That would be so hard to clean. How is that sanitary?
But it's pretty.
But
It's
it's
on
not
the outside.
sanitary.
It's on the outside.
No, but this is just Frida's mindset.
Yeah. No, it's
That's just me going as I'm helping clean up. It's on the outside.
where you are so used to everything being super practical in the kitchen.
Right.
They
Everything's
just
super practical. It's very
ornamented
like utilitarian.
everything. Like, did that fairy just move? No, it's just really well crafted. And it's on that end of a spoon, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's-
Frida's like freaking out.
That's the evening in Thamarin that this group gets to enjoy. And what happens next morning is for next session, because we're now at 11 p.m. Atlantic time. So the adventure in Thamarin will continue in the next session. You didn't have to kill anyone this session.
I know.
Yay!
Some people
Just not
pushed,
trying
but
hard enough.
I mean, Big's still here.
Thorin would have killed the dwarf if I'd let him.
I would
seems
not
that
have
you're-
killed him.
In for some respite and potentially some prophecy. Who knows what the Master of Sight might
Dun,
have
dun,
for you.
dun.
I wouldn't have killed the dwarf. I would have stepped on his broken leg and taken his rations and left him.
And eat.
Don't forget the crossbow.
Oh, and the crossbow. Because if I killed him when he's helpless, well, I'm a low empathy. I could probably get away with it. But,
Or
I
it
can
might
leave him
break
to
you
die.
faster.
yeah. Right.
All
So yeah,
right.
I wouldn't have directly killed him.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for playing. See you again in 2 weeks, I believe. And
Good night, folks.
yeah, and we'll pick it up from here.
Perfect. Thanks for running.
Good
Thanks,
night.
everyone.
Thank you.
Night, guys.